And it's less than 24 hours for Parliament to reconvene. There is tension as both the NDC and the MPP caucuses in the House carry themselves as the majority side. The NDC in Parliament alleges that there are moves by the MPP government or by government to deploy soldiers to Parliament on Tuesday. It follows the tense past few days after the Speaker declared 4 seats vacant at the declaration stage by the Supreme Court. We'll hear from the caucus chief whip, but here is a report by parliamentary correspondent Kwaku Asante, who traces back the military deployment to the first day of the 8th Parliament and this raging controversy.
It was midnight on the 7th of January 2021. Heavily armed soldiers were deployed into the chamber of Parliament. The election of the Speaker was ongoing and the tensions were palpable. After intense confrontation between the NDC MPs and the soldiers, the military withdrew. The 8th Parliament started on a chaotic note and looks set to end on an even worse note. It follows the declaration made by the Speaker of Parliament declaring 4 seats vacant.
I proceed to inform the House that by the notification of the polls, the following members of Parliament have by their actions vacated their seats in Parliament.
This declaration has since been stayed by the Supreme Court, which ordered the Parliament of Ghana to allow these MPs perform their responsibilities. The NPP side lauded this as victory for democracy.
We are Democrats. We don't believe in violence. We don't believe in mischief and unnecessary political chaos. We came to court believing that the court will do right, and indeed the court has just done that.
But the NDC MPs insist they are the majority in the House, despite the highest court's ruling.
The NDC MPs in Parliament now constitute the majority caucus in line with the standing orders of Ghana's Parliament. Fellow countrymen and women, the NDC now constitute the majority caucus in this 8th Parliament. We will jealously protect our new majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status.
With the House set to resume on Tuesday, tensions are at a high, with influential Ghanaians calling for calm and cool heads to prevail.
Looking forward to tomorrow's debate and how the composition of Parliament would look like. Is the Speaker going to respect the decision of the Supreme Court, or is going to carry through the decision he came to on Thursday that led to the declaration of vacancy for 4 parliamentary seats, 3 on the MPP side, if you like, and 1 on the NDC side. And let me bring in Reverend Dr. Cyril Fayose. He's the General Secretary, Christian Council of Ghana. Also be speaking to some other guests on this development. Dr. Fayose, you're welcome to the pod. So you've been observing things since Thursday. I mean, your initial reaction to what happened in Parliament, the Supreme Court, as we look forward to Tuesday.
Thank you very much, and greetings to your cherished listeners and viewers. I think that cool heads must prevail, and what is happening is creating unnecessary tension in our society. And I think the political leaders, the leader of Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament, the Chief Justice, and all the major stakeholders should come to the table, sit around the table, and resolve this quietly, even out of public view. And let's move on with our lives. We have more serious things to contend with. And let us not allow majority-minority issues, which will not be of any major consequence in any case, be a problem. That will disrupt our political life and economy.
So, I mean, the Speaker delivered his ruling on Thursday, and then the MPP group walked out of the House. They still maintain the fact that they are still in a majority. I mean, they went to court the next day to challenge the Speaker's ruling. The court is giving a 10-day stay, which means that for now, according in the eyes of the Supreme Court, the status quo should remain until the final determination of the case. Now, we've heard some NDC MPs, including the current whip on the NDC side, say that the Supreme Court should come and enforce its ruling on the floor. And for that reason, they will not respect the decision of the court until the Speaker says so. Is this really what should be coming from our members of Parliament?
Yeah, I don't think that is what should be coming from our members of Parliament. And
Hello, Dr. Farisi.
yes, I was going to say that, you see, we are not legal experts. I'm not a legal expert. But I am confused as I speak to you, because legal experts on both sides are commending the action of their side. In other words, those who are in favor of the Speaker's position are commending his action, and those who are on the side of those who have gone to court, to the Supreme Court, are also being supported by very respected, learned legal brains of our society. So we don't really know what to say about this. I think they should find a way to resolve this among themselves.
But when you say...
You can't jump to the position of one or the other.
Okay. When in your initial comments, you spoke at the fact that cool heads must prevail. How should that happen?
Yeah.
How should that happen?
Well, I know some religious and traditional leaders are talking to the major stakeholders to calm down and seek the interest of the nation first, and not political parties at this point. So let's try and do what is best for Ghana, and not what will lead to conflict and violence eventually.
Okay. So tomorrow.
So that's how I believe we can come to the table and have some kind of understanding as to how to move forward.
So tomorrow, for example, you don't expect to see any skirmishes on the floor like we witnessed at the start of the life of this parliament. We expect that, parliamentary practice that even before the Speaker walked to the chamber, we will hold a pre-sitting meeting with the leaders of those sides to agree on how the business should be conducted on the floor. At this meeting, which is very crucial ahead of tomorrow's sitting, what do you expect, knowing very well that one side is against the ruling of the Speaker and have taken a position which is not finding favor with the other side?
I think if we even come to Parliament tomorrow, cool heads must prevail. And as Parliament always does, they debate the issues and reach certain conclusions. They should continue to do that. I don't think it is time for us to use external arbiters or any external forces to kind of calm the situation down. They know how to do it. They are very, very good, astute debaters. They should debate the issue, come to certain conclusions, and let's move on with our lives.
Some have suggested that in the country we have so many challenges facing us. Galamsey is one big challenge that is facing the country. And for that reason, the strength of our MP should be devoted towards dealing with that matter rather than this, legalities and things that may not solve the very issue that we have in the country. Do you agree?
I completely agree with that position. Apart from the Galamsey issue, we also have a lot of people are suffering in the country. The economy is not the best. People are really, really suffering. The number of calls you get in a day asking for some kind of financial assistance is a lot. So let our parliamentarians rather focus on the more serious issues and not what we are talking about. I think it's a parliamentary gymnastics that they are doing over there.
All right. Dr. Seofire, we'll leave you here and wait to, as we look forward to tomorrow's sitting. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Meanwhile, member of the Council of State and former President of the Ghana Bar Association, Sambo Kwijeto, says the tension is not good enough for the country. He, however, wants the orders of the Supreme Court to be respected. He spoke to Mefao Pao on the probe.
Well, it just had to be clear to all of us that Parliament makes the law, but Parliament does not interpret the law. And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It was not Parliament that made the Constitution. It's the people of Ghana. If you read the preamble, it's quite clear. And the power to interpret the Constitution is given to the Supreme Court and not to Parliament. And therefore, there's a controversy as to whether any particular power can be exercised or not exercised. It is the responsibility of the Supreme Court and not of Parliament. It's rather surprising that my legal colleagues in Parliament don't want to apply their mind to legality, but rather trying to use sentiments to interpret the law. And I don't think it's in our own interest, because the kind of confusion which is being created now, I do not know where it's going to lead this nation. There is a president who is elected. He serves in office until 7th January, when somebody else is sworn in. Beyond that, there is no other person who can be a government of this country. And Parliament is not a government. Parliament only makes rules and makes laws. And so I am just cautioning my colleagues and all Ghanaians for that matter. Let's put sentiments aside. There comes a time when cool heads are required for us to resolve controversy or issues that we disagree with. And so let's just take a cool head and stop what we are doing now, because I don't think it's the interest. I heard utterances by even lawyers on the air as if they are trying to organize that there should be a coup d'etat. Maybe they are too young to know what happened over 30 years ago when soldiers seized power. Indeed, 3 judges were abducted and killed because they felt that those judges had given judgments which they did not agree with. The Martyrs' Day that the lawyers celebrate yearly over the last 30 years is a warning to all of us to say that no situation is permanent. You hold political office only for a period. Tomorrow you may not be there. Another group will be there. So let's just keep a cool head. The Speaker has made a ruling. Whether indeed he himself has the power to declare a seat in Parliament vacant is another issue, because the same Constitution also says that to declare a seat vacant is the responsibility of the High Court.
Right, so everybody is looking forward to tomorrow. Now, the breaking news this afternoon is that the Legal Department of Parliament has just been served a true copy of the Supreme Court order freezing Speaker Barben's controversial decision to throw 4 MPs out of the House. And we have more on myjoyonline.com. So that's the information coming, that the Legal Department of Parliament has just been served a true copy of the Supreme Court order freezing the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Barben's controversial decision to throw 4 MPs out of the House. So what is Parliament going to do with this latest development? What we are picking this very afternoon is that the Legal Department of Parliament has just been served a true copy of the Supreme Court order that freezes the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Barben's controversial decision to throw 4 MPs out of the House. And this is just coming in. It's the latest development on this matter, and we're keeping an eye on them. We'll bring you developments as and when they come, as we look forward to Tuesday forenoon for the development of this matter, whether the Speaker is going to respect this or is going to carry through the ruling he came to last Thursday, and what will be the composition of the House. Is the House going to respect the current status quo or move to effect the changes that is required? We are keeping an eye on this very little development on this matter. This is your election headquarters. Well, so we are keeping an eye on the development in Parliament. The latest news is that the Legal Department of Parliament has been served with a true copy of the Supreme Court ruling on Thursday has been served on the legal department of Parliament. What that means is that Parliament is in copy of the decision taken by the Supreme Court on Friday. And so we'll wait to see how Parliament progress on this matter. We're keeping an eye on this, and we'll bring you latest development on this matter. Stay on. But let me not take you to the election headquarters, because all of it ties in the fact that we are heading towards a very important election in the next 47 days. Now, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is this afternoon promising to tackle Ghana's unemployment rate with a job creation agenda through his government Buy Ghana First policy. According to him, this policy will be backed by law, and government agencies will be bound by law to buy from companies operating in Ghana. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, here is Togbi Kakraku Anansi Titriku, the 13th acting paramount chief of Juapon traditional area, pleading with Dr. Bawumia to do all he can to revamp the voter star tester factory when he is elected president of the Republic.
Excellency, as you continue your campaign and prepare to lead our great nation, we wish to assure you of the support and prayers of the chiefs and people of North Togo. We are confident that your leadership will bring about a new chapter of progress and development for our region, ensuring that North Togo becomes a significant contributor to Ghana's national prosperity. We know that you are no stranger to the challenges facing these business, and we trust that as you seek the highest office in the land, North Togo will remain a priority in your plans for a more inclusive and prosperous Ghana. We believe that under your presidency, our collective vision for development will be realized.
So Dr. Bawumia had a response from the chiefs, and he says that his Buy Ghana First policy will provide a solution for all manufacturing companies in Ghana.
I have a policy to support all Ghanaian manufacturers, and that policy is the Buy Ghana First policy. I'm going to back it with law. Buy Ghana First policy, which means that for all the things that government buys, and government buys a lot, the law will require that you buy Ghana first. If there is a company making that product in Ghana, you have to first source that particular product from the Ghanaian company. And if we are not able to produce it in Ghana, that is the only time you are allowed to look outside to buy that good. And I believe that if we do the Buy Ghana First policy, companies like the Volta Star Textiles will survive, because all the free SHS schools and so on, the uniforms and all of that, we will be buying it from this factory, and we will create the jobs, and we will have all of that. So we will amend the law and also amend the Public Procurement Act to make sure that this happens. And as I said, it was when I came here and I talked to the workers that I started thinking of how best do we save companies like the Volta Star Textile Limited. But I believe that a Buy Ghana First policy, which is backed by law, will save this company, and if not only save it, but allow it to grow in terms of output.
So that's Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the MPP's flag bearer, talking about jobs, which is a major issue for the 2024 elections. All the political parties, they are promising what they describe as their strategy to deal with the issue of unemployment. Now, the National Democratic Congress has announced what it also calls a comprehensive employment and jobs creation strategy for a John Mahama presidency. The NDC says it will create 1.7 million jobs between 2025 and 2029. Here are extracts of the plan that the NDC says that will help them achieve this target of creating 1.7 million jobs between 2025, that next year, and 2029, a 4-year period. And this is what the NDC is promising will deliver the 1.7 million jobs. So per the NDC's own calculation, they hope to create over 430,000 jobs every year. And new jobs, that's 431,000. They round it up. They've done their own calculations, and this is what the thing that will help them do. And so how are they going to do it? They have 5 pillars of the employment strategy: modernize and revamp employment institutions and legislation focused on job creation. They also have this Aspire 24 program to reorient employer and employee mindsets. We will understand what this means very shortly. National Employment Trust to mobilize resources for a concerted job push. Leveling up, that's another pillar, a program to ensure inclusiveness in employment and coordination through a high-level national employment coordination committee. So these are the 5 areas that they hope to focus on to create the 1.7 million jobs within the 4-year period. So there you have it, how it will go, the trends of unemployment rate in the country. We've tracked it from 2022 all the way to 2023. There's been a swinging safari, if you like, but generally, unemployment has always been on a rise from 13%, 13.9, 13.7. It came down to 11.3% in the 4th quarter of 2022, and it will go up to 14.9. Currently, unemployment in the country stands at 14.7%. That's at the end of the 3rd quarter of 2023, and we're waiting for the latest figures. We are actually in the last quarter. So this is like a year ago, the rate of unemployment in the country. Has it gone up? Is it stagnating, or has it come down? The latest figures will tell. So for the NDC, this will absorb the expected 300,000 yearly entrance into the workforce and reduce current unemployment levels by 120,000 each year. Now in the studio, to help us analyze this and look at the feasibility of the plan by the NDC is Nicholas Isaka Gbana, development economist. And you're welcome, sir. All right, so he's a member of the Party's Employment and Job Creation Committee, and he's here to help us deal with this matter. So, I look at the 5 pillars. What I didn't see is specifics. Yeah. For example, we hope to do this in the agricultural sector, in industry, in the service sector. Yeah. I don't see those specifics. Are you able to tell us how you hope to create the 1.7 and which areas specifically are you focusing on beyond the 5 broad areas that you have analyzed? Okay, so if you look at what we have as the 24 economy, we have a number of sectors, 12 key areas. There's agro-processing, there's manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, construction, financial services, the extractive industries, sanitation and waste management, hospitality, retail, transportation, health services, and security services. We do not have a breakdown by sector because that's a bit difficult to do, but we are looking at our numbers are based on 2 key parameters. Right. One is that we grow the economy at least by 6% annually. That is critical because without economic growth, you wouldn't have the job creation. But you can't create anything. So 6% annually, not the 4-5% that we've been doing. Second bit is also to improve what we call the elasticity of employment. Because we've had economic growth, but we haven't had the commensurate amount of jobs. The statistics, for instance, shows that for each 1% growth we have in the economy, we just have barely 0.3% growth in job creation. And that is because we haven't focused particular attention on the job creation bit. So those are the 2 key parameters we are looking at. 6% GDP growth and also improving the employment elasticity to about 0.5. But the focus is where exactly? So the focus is the sector that I've given you, agro-processing, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, construction. There are 12 sectors, right, also tied to the 24-hour economy. Financial services, extractive industries, that is mining, quarrying, and all the other areas. We have sanitation and waste management, hospitality, retail, transportation, health, and security services. All these services currently exist in this country, yet we have issues of unemployment. Yes. So what makes your plan different? Good. So what makes it different is this. Our plan is comprehensive. There are 5 elements, as you did point out. So first, we're looking at the legal and institutional framework. That is one. And after that, there are a number of things that we want to do. Number one, remember all the debate about employment numbers and statistics. Right. To address that, there's a Ghana Labor Market Information System which is ongoing. We intend to accelerate that so that the data and statistics is clear. There will be no dispute
about who did what. Because without data, you can't really deliver on policy. The second bit is to strengthen the Ministry of Employment. I'm still talking of the legal and institutional arrangement.
Okay.
The Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, as you can see, spends more on its time on labor disputes of public sector work. But job creation is cross-cutting, and our program is to strengthen that ministry to play that key coordination role. The third bit is to look at the Labor Act itself. As the Labor Act stands now, for instance, it doesn't sufficiently take care of the informal economy. Today we have what we call gig work, remote work, working from home. The Labor Act, as it stands now, does not take care of that. So it's to look at a much more comprehensive Labor Act to become an employment act. So that is the other bit. The second element of the strategy, which deals with the Aspire 24, essentially is about skills development. So we have the mindset, we all agree that our work ethics needs improvement.
Absolutely.
Our response to time, even customer service. So that is what the mindset and work ethic program would do, both for the public sector and the private sector. We have the National Apprenticeship Program also.
But the mindset issue, it was a question I was going to come, now that you brought it up.
Yes.
Let's chew on it a little bit. Yes. So what really is the problem with the Ghanaian employer and employee such that synergy is not able to to be dealt with, to create that harmony so that people can be employed as and when they are available?
Sure.
Because industry will tell you that when people graduate even from the university, they will spend a year, 2 or 3 to train them so that they can fit into their scheme of things. So there is a problem somewhere. Have you looked at that as well?
So that is where we have the apprenticeship program as well as TVET. And included in that will be part of the work ethics training. Work ethics is not also only about just employees or potential job seekers. It's also about employees. Because the same Ghanaian would travel outside
and do better.
Countries and do better. He crosses to UK or the US and his work approach and work ethics changes. So we need to tackle it from two ends, the employer as well as also from the employee side, embed these things strongly into our training, into our curriculum.
All right.
On the employee side.
Now, the 300,000 that is captured in your, the claim is made.
Yes.
That every year you have over 300,000 joining the work market, but the corresponding job is not there. So you have a lot of graduates who are sitting home, people with masters, double masters, and they don't find work to do that. The issue is the foundation that will make companies in a position to absorb these huge numbers that come out every year. My understanding is that if we don't fix the feeding issues that is making it difficult for industries to grow, you may have all the fine policies, but they will not be able to buy into your policy because they're already suffocating under mirage of issues. How are you going to deal with the foundation? Because government has no business doing business. It is the private sector that will stimulate growth. But if the private sector has so many challenges that government has created and is unwilling to fix it, then all the fine proposal you have may stay on the paper. It may not translate on the ground because industry foundation is so weak that it will not be able to recruit. How are you hoping to fix this?
The number one foundational issue is the macroeconomic issues, the high inflation, high interest rates, and stable city. So that is critical.
There's also the exchange rate.
Yeah, and exchange rate. Those are foundational issues. We do perfectly agree, and our fiscal program, our economic program addresses that. And the fundamental issue is to ensure that government expenditure is aligned with revenue so that we don't have so much borrowing. So that is critical. We do recognize that. But on top of that, there are also specific incentives and programs we have for industry. Now, if you talk to most business people, they will talk about finance being an issue. And there are two dimensions to it, access and cost. If you go to the normal banking sector, today you borrow at 35-40%. Now, there are schemes to provide concessionary finance, that's 10%. We intend to do more, to put more money to support business. Now, one of the reasons why we have more buying and selling and not enough of real manufacturing is just because of the high interest rates. You can't borrow at 35-40%, build a factory and pay back. Right. If you run the numbers, it just doesn't add up. So to address that, that is why we're going to have the National Employment Trust, which will mobilize more resources to ensure that we have more concessionary financing. Whereas we also deal with the macroeconomic issues to bring inflation down, bring interest rates down, and have a bit more stable city.
Because it's very critical. I'm just, over the weekend, I was at
Yes.
Doma for some other business and a funeral. So, you know, Doma is reputed to be the headquarters of poultry in the country. So almost every town, you would find a poultry farm. Now, when I spoke to some of the farmers, their major issue is sometimes transportation, transporting what they have to Accra, which is the commercial city of the country, or to other parts of the country. Now, here's what is happening. Now, they grow the chicks, and then buyers from Ivory Coast come and buy it very cheap. They take it to their country, grow them, and then sell and make sometimes 500 to 1,000% of how much they bought from our people. And our people are living poorly, even though they have the raw material that can help rejuvenate our poultry industry. So with this classical example, and you are seeking to address unemployment and looking at the potential it has for our economy and for the economy of that enclave, what will be the solution?
So on the poultry side, I mean, and I think this is quite classic with so many, and the demand thing is key. I mean, imports, they will tell you, is killing their industry. So we have a program where the government is the biggest spender in the economy, whereby government will use this purchasing power. Take school feeding, for instance. So we don't need to use imported chicken to feed children, especially if it's a government program. So we intend to review the procurement laws to ensure that we give much more premium, much more priority to made in Ghana products. That is one. But beyond that, for you and I, who are individuals, who are households, government cannot legislate that we should buy made in Ghana. But what our program seeks to do is to ensure that we have the Brand Ghana office that supports the private sector together with the National Employment Trust to ensure that, one, their goods are competitive, they have a quality, and of course they come at a reasonable price that you and I can afford. Beyond that also, if you recall, President Mahama or candidate Mahama has already committed himself to chair an accelerated export development council, which will ensure that we give much more vigor to our export growth and export development program. So those are some of the examples of things that specifically we do to address this unique point. And of course, once we add a concessionary financing, the needed technical assistance, that definitely will resolve itself.
But I mean, your opponents will say that, judging by what they are hearing on the political platform,
yes,
some comments that has found itself into an advertising tool by your opponents, yes, where they play the insert of your flag bearer, yes, John Mahama, yes, saying that those who are into port, one will come, will create this for you, ABC in Kukubu Kakrama. And people say that this is not big a vision enough for anybody to buy into this idea. Yes. When the industry is there and can be harnessed to become even bigger. Yes. And your vision is to create, and is to, you know, for want of a better word, in Kukubu. Yes. Which?
Well, I think that's rather mischievous. Our vision is to support all categories of industries, from the micro to the small to the medium and to the large. And even the large, to the extent that the large provides a market for the small ones. We will support everybody. I mean, remember that even in poultry, there are grower schemes where you can have small poultry producers producing for a larger poultry enterprise. So we don't need to ignore the small ones. Remember that almost 70% of our economy is informal, right, where micro businesses dominate. So you cannot just focus only on the larger enterprises and forget the small ones. They have forgotten to mention that we're also looking at the small and the medium and the large. They've just picked just a small bit alone and are focused on that. But we are looking at every kind of enterprise, the micro, the small, the medium, and the large.
And clearly, poultry sits in the broader scheme, yes, of the agriculture sector. And I'm sure you observe over the months the situation at the north and how that obviously will impact on food security and the livelihood, yes, of the farmers themselves. Clearly, we fail to plan in terms of providing the needed irrigation services. Are you dealing with this?
Yeah, we are dealing with that. Our grid program looks at this whole issue of climate. I mean, it's not just even only about irrigation. There are well-tested agronomic practices that farmers can deploy to ensure that they mitigate. It does not eliminate all the risk with poor weather, lack of rainfall. But there are good practices to ensure that we can mitigate that. Farmers plant it on time, even the kind of varieties that are planted to ensure that we mitigate some of these risks. So it's doable. And our agri sector program has specific interventions to address with this so that we can build the capacity of farmers and even processors to ensure that the kind of agriculture we do incorporates climate-sensitive practices.
Right. So let's touch on a few issues. Yeah. The 300,000, these are graduates. What about those who did not have opportunity to access tertiary education, but they also need jobs.
The 300,000 is everybody. It's not just graduates.
The claim is that every year 300,000 people come from the various universities and other tertiary institutions.
Yes.
So there's a number that is outside of 300. Outside of the 300. Some may leave after BEC. Others will go to senior high school, and that will be the end of their educational career. But those people also need jobs.
Yes. Remember, we are talking of 430,000. That is our target, and that includes everybody. Not every year. Not every year. On average, so it's 1.7 million over 4 years. So on average, we are looking at 430,000, and that includes everybody. Now, remember, we also we have the National Apprenticeship Scheme.
Right.
And apprenticeship is not only for those that, couldn't advance their education to the tertiary level. I've worked with graduates who have finished university and have chosen to go and learn a trade to improve their practical skills to do. So the program is not focused only on the graduates. It's going to cut across everybody. Once you're interested to learn a trade, even if you want to do agri, there are people who have studied agriculture but don't understand the agronomy, for instance, of oil palm or cashew. If they want to get into those, or even poultry, if you want to get into those sectors, they need specific programs that also include apprenticeship for them to build the practical skills.
But mining is also another decent area where you can employ so many people.
Yes.
Even the situation you have on our hands means that if hand as well, we can mine responsibly, save the environment, and still give job to thousands, if not millions of people. What is the plan?
So the NDC is committed to sustainable mining. And I know a couple of NGOs that have run very good sustainable mining practices. We don't need to crack our heads too much. There's something called a craft code, which is a whole sustainable mining practice that small-scale miners can apply. And we have a program to look at sustainable mining practices. We've also have a program to improve access and ease of acquisition of permits. Secondly, to also look at financing, because part of the reasons why we have the Chinese coming in and all that was because our people, even who had legitimate licenses, could not mobilize the requisite financing to do that. So we have a program to look at that as well, to look at sustainable mining, not the kind of unfortunate situation we have now.
As we begin to wrap up, so if I'm listening at home and I'm unemployed, why should I take your word serious?
Take our word serious because we have first of all, the program is comprehensive. We are not just rushing. I think you should take our word serious looking at the content of what we have put forward in our manifesto. That, for me, is the first step. To look at the content, how comprehensive is it, how reasonable is it? Is it just...
The reason being that this is not the first time we are analyzing party manifesto. And sometimes delivering on the manifestos, on the promises made becomes an issue. It's about commitment and the sincerity to deliver and deliver good. Yes. You have been accused of delivering only 22% of your last manifesto. So why should we give you any hearing when your last manifesto, according to your opponents, were able to deliver only 22%?
I don't know where the 22% came from, but remember that President Mahama has been there before. And of course, he himself would admit that there are a lot of areas from his experience we need to improve. So you are having somebody who has been there before, who has seen the unique issues and the challenges, and definitely coming in to do a far, far superior job than what you had in his first term of office. So that is the assurance we are giving.
And for businesses,
no try and
error this time. So we should hold you to your word.
Hold us to our word.
Yes, that the 400,000 will be
430,000 a year.
And by the time the term is over, 1.7 million Ghanaians will have jobs, sustainable jobs.
Yes, sustainable jobs. Decent jobs, decent and sustainable, because the decency has to do with the level of employment, the level of incomes, which is also important. It also has to do with social protection. A lot of our folks, even who are employed, don't have social protection, no social security and all that. And
right.
We have a program.
And it's a very important
Yes, we have a program to ensure that we have social protection.
Even
it's not just...
Even those who have, because they are employed.
Yes.
When they retire and they realize that also this is all that I'm worth after maybe 30, 35, 40 years of my service to the nation. Yes. Income levels generally are low. Yes. And there's a need for something to be done about it.
Yes. And we think that the low incomes also have to do with our productivity levels. Let's face it. As a country, we are not even as productive as Cote d'Ivoire in Nigeria and others in our sub-regions. So productivity is a key issue that we intend to address. Until we improve our productivity, that was no politics about it. There's no way you can enhance income significantly.
All right, my final question. So for industries who are listening,
yes,
and they say that they are suffocating under taxes.
Yes.
What is the message for them?
Remember that we've already committed ourselves to eliminating e-levy, COVID tax. So we've already made commitments to cancel some of these taxes already. And we also committed that under an NDC government led by President Mahama, additional tax incentives will be provided for industry to thrive.
All right, Development Economist member of the NDC, and their job is on jobs. Mr. Nicholas Sagam, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
We'll hold you to your word.
Thank you.
All right, let's stay with the NDC because the party's flag bearer, John Mahama, has raised concerns about what he says is the exclusion of Alodia landowners in the new Sagalami housing project deal. He said the future NDC government would review the current agreement to ensure the active involvement of local people. Marshal Agbagba has more from the first day tour of John Mahama here in Accra, where he responded to President Akufo-Addo's challenge on him to speak on Galamsey and the Free Senior High School program.
The NDC presidential candidate John Mahama visited the Tema West, Lejukuku, and Okaikwe South constituencies. He says a future NDC government will retool Ghana's security agencies. John Mahama says the NDC's market enhancement program will improve the state of all of Ghana's markets.
There are many other programs that we have already indicated that we'll do. And if you look in the manifesto, you see the 120-day pledge. That is our social contract. And one of them is that in the first 120 days, we'll provide the seed money upfront for the Women's Development Bank. So that our mothers and our sisters can get loans with low interest, no collateral. You don't give any collateral. So that they can build up their businesses and be able to raise money to be able to look after the family. Apart from that, for our women, we're going to do what we call the market enhancement program. Everywhere there's a market, we'll engineer it properly, build it nicely, pave the floor, so that when it rains, you don't have to walk in mud to enter the market. We have to make the markets enticing so that you're happy to go there and buy things. If you go in the market, you have to step in the mud and it will soil your shoes and your cloth. Who wants to go to such a market? And so under the market enhancement program for our mothers and our sisters who sell in the markets, we're going to re-engineer your markets nicely so that it is enticing for people to come there and do their shopping.
John Mahama also responded to a recent NPP advert mocking his promise to help small businesses grow, stating that the NPP lacks foresight when it comes to supporting businesses.
The other time, I said that if you wanted to be a baker, we'll help you with the equipment.
The other time, I said we were going to help small businesses to grow. If you want to be a baker, we'll support you with the flour, money, and everything you need. And I said those who want to start a poultry farm, we will help them with the hen coop and the chicks and the money to take care of the chicks. When they grow and lay eggs, they will make money when they sell the eggs and the fowl. Our friends in the NPP have done an advert mocking what I said, but they do not know even advanced countries reached that status through small and medium enterprises. The successful businessmen you see here in Ghana all started small. We are not shy to say we will help small and medium enterprises. Small and medium enterprises, this is your government.
So this is a pause here on Joy News. We'll take a short break. When we come back, it's a double header at the 1A stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz as two key contests happens here live on Joy News. We'll have more details when we return from this break. Before we bring you the National Science and Maths Quiz, let's talk about health, because we're in the month of October and it's for breast cancer. Now in Ghana, about 40% of young women lose their lives to breast cancer depriving them of the opportunity to fulfill their dreams of starting a family. In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Miriam, a 33-year-old cancer survivor, bravely shares a story. In Ghana, about 40% of young women go through some of these things. Let's listen to her.
Results came out and but I sat down to think about it. I called friends, I called pastors, but the only thing my counselor was telling me, if only that will make me survive, why don't I do it? I know she was thinking about my life too, but me too, I was thinking about my future, about
because the receptors are too tiny for you to chase. Okay, so you have to give something to either block the receptors or something to prevent the body from
charge of their health. Let's work together to break the culture of fear and stigmatization and financial burden.
We shouldn't keep long to seek the medical health and all those things, and we shouldn't stigmatize others because people are stigmatized. When I tell people about my situation, oh, don't say it. So we should stop the stigma.
All right, so that is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are in the month of October. And folks, I mean, if you are a woman, you are prone to it. Just like every man is prone to prostate cancer, every woman is prone to breast cancer. Now, if you are 40 and above, the word here is that you have to undertake constant checking. When detected early, they can deal with it. But if you don't check and it grows into a stage where they can no longer deal with it, that is where they may have to remove one breast. But it is treatable once detected early. All right, so that's it. Let me take you to the Central Region now and our live coverage of the final 1/8 stage contest of the 2024 National Science and Maths Quiz. This afternoon, we have St. Louis Senior High School in Kumasi. They are coming up against Ghana National College and Archbishop Porter's Girls Senior High School. And so the stakes are high as these two top contenders battle it out for a place in the quarterfinal, bringing their best strategies, teamwork, and sharp minds to the contest. We are in for a thrilling match as the excitement has just been building up throughout the competition. All eyes are on these schools as they compete for a converted spot to the next stage with only one team advancing today. So how are they building up to this exciting day? My colleague Jacqueline Asuma-Yeboah and Adobia, they are on standby to warm you up ahead of the contest. So Jackie and Adobia, how are the schools preparing for this afternoon's contest? St. Louis, Ghana National, and Archbishop.
Well, thank you very much, Elton. And I mean, the atmosphere here has been great and exciting since morning. Augusco, after they won the contest, it has been amazing. And the other auditoriums that I've been to with my colleague Adobia Asari has been amazing. But then I'll introduce my colleague Adobia Asari now to take over.
Well, hello there, Elton. Good afternoon to you and to our cherished viewers. It's still all about the 2024 National Science and Math Quiz. Today happens to be the last day, right, the final day of the 1/8 stage, where 27 schools are battling to secure spots in the quarterfinals. However, only 9 can make it. Well, some have made it through, of course, and we'll bring you details of that shortly. I do this, Adobia Asari, with my able colleague
Jacqueline Asuma-Yeboah.
Right, so Jacqueline, how have the contests been for you so far?
Well, the first contest here, Augusco, I think so far so good. That's the highest. 73 points. Wow. Yes, they've sailed through to the next round, and I mean, they came in with so much energy. They were very confident of a win, and obviously they sailed through. But then the contest that I just came from, Wesley Girls Senior High School with Ameni Ampong and a Sherman. Remember the last contest that I told you about, that they had to do a tiebreaker before they proceed.
It happened this time?
Yeah, it happened this time. And Wesley Girls last year, they put up an amazing performance going to the semi-final stage. In a very long time, they hadn't been there, but then they made everyone proud last year by being there. But then today, their performance, it was like Ameni Ampong Senior High School. It was a battle between those two schools. When the contest ended, it was 44 points for each of the schools. So it took a tiebreaker contest, and then first answers, each school got it wrong. The second, that was when Wesley Girls had it right, and they proceeded to the quarterfinal stage. But then, so far so good. We're currently in the last contest for the day, which we'll be telling you much more pretty soon. But it'll be your contest.
Well, quickly, yes. Back at my place, that's the SGS Auditorium. The Wallace SHS met Konongo Odumase and Bishop Herman boys. Now, this was quite a contest. Wallace is a newbie, but they did very well. How they managed to pull through in the
used to be a 1A stages.
Yes, at this time when you're new, and their marks were good. They ended with 32, which is not bad at all. Yeah. And then Konogo Odumase and Bishop Herman boys. Wow, what a contest! They were really contending with each other. Someone leads in round 1, the next person leads in round 2, and then in round 3, it took the riddles again for the same riddle issue.
You know, the riddles, it changes the whole status quo and the fate of the
Bishop
schools.
won with 49 points, and then Konongo Odumase followed with 48 points. I think they've done very well because 1 point gap, but it's very painful when you lose with just a point.
Definitely.
But then it gives you so much hope that the next time you're going to come with heat and you are going to do so well. So back at other places too, we had the Auditorium 900.
Your last contest, St. Peter's Krobo Girls. Your last contest at Obiasari.
Yes.
I saw it making trends all over social media. At the point, Krobo Girls was leading.
Yes. Krobo Girls led in round 1. St. Peter's led in round 1. Krobo Girls led in round 2. And then in round 3, St. Peter's took over. And unfortunately, some way, somehow, they are third contenders. The third contender for the day, I mean, just rose up to the ranks. Even though they didn't win, they were second. And that's, I'll get you the name real quickly. That was...
Well, we still coming to you.
While I'm still finding the name, please. So, yes, Krobo Girls did not win. However, at my place, there was some kind of, the protests were many because they were not understanding so many things.
And usually, let's just inform our audience that when the protest happens, it delays the contest because then every school wants to sail through to the next round. So when it happens, it definitely delays the contest.
Yes,
but then
there were protests from St. Peter's and Krobo Girls.
Yeah.
But I think things were resolved.
Sure.
And then St. Peter's, when it wasn't an easy win for them, when I spoke to the boys, they admitted that it was not easy. And then they really experienced some kind of, the competition was very tough for them, but then they have promised to go and do their homework and come back harder. Which contest are we looking forward to this afternoon?
Currently at the Auditorium 900, we have an amazing contest this evening, which is currently live on Joy News. Yeah. We have St. Louis Senior High School, Ghana National College, and Archbishop Potter Girls. Well, we have the students here. Let's speak to them real quick. Let's start with Ghana National. Let's welcome them and let them join me right here. Nananom with the heat. Can you join us here?
Oh, are you excited to be here at all?
Yes. Nananom, I'm not feeling the heat. Nananom. All right. Well, your last contest, you promised us a win. Are we still in the same vein right now?
Oh yes, I'm sure we are going to double the margin we gave the Nkwetia people. We gave them 20-point margin, and this time we are going to show St. Louis and Archbishop Potter Girls that indeed they are girls. We come from the hills of Ghana National College.
But your school is mixed.
So the manpower actually empowers our ladies. Our ladies are different from the ladies coming from Archbishop Potter Girls.
How different? How different?
Because in 2016 I presented a lady in 2016 SMQ, Sama Sumaila, who had the overall quiz contestant for the year 2016 and finished pharmacy in Legon, and we are going to repeat that today.
Okay, well, you seem confident. But then let me speak to your ladies too. If their confidence level is the same as yours, what are we expecting from your school in this very contest?
Well, first of all, we'd like to acknowledge God's grace and how far He has brought us, because everything is about God. And we are expecting that God will take us through to the end and we'll come out victorious in this contest.
Okay, all right. Well, they're expecting victory. Now, let me speak to you. What message do you have for St. Louis Senior High School and Archbishop Potter Girls?
Okay, my message is very simple. Though I really respect them because they are one of the female powerhouses in this country, but I just can't say something that would undermine them. But all I would say is they should expect something great, because they are really going to win them by a great margin. They are really going to win them. Yeah.
Well, I spoke to one gentleman earlier at your previous contest, and he promised us that he told us that you guys are the Gen Z champions. I told him that moving through the stages of the competition, you're going to meet the 2-time champions, the 8-time champions, and other ones. But he told me that you guys are the Gen Z champions. Do you still agree to that?
Yeah, there's time for everything. There's our time, so if they've been 8-time champions or whatever, then there's our time to also show them that it's our time. So, yeah.
Okay, well, we want you to show us and our audience that this is indeed your time. We want to hear your school anthem. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right, counting you down. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
The joys of Ghana, call we sing, whose glory forever shall reign. Our pride and youth is
right. It looks like there's so much excitement here.
Inspire us with thy spirit bold, that we may have thy body. Hail boys, hail, share your share for our Ghana calling. Hail boys, hail, share your share for our Ghana calling.
No. All right, well, finally, before you take leave of us, your final words, your final messages to the two schools you're competing with.
Okay, so our final statement to the two girls' schools that we are going to beat today is that we believe that victory cometh from God, and already God has promised us that He's going to grant us this victory again. This time it's not going to be a 20-point margin. We are doubling the points, and so we are moving straight to 40-point margin. And I know that is going to happen after the close of the contest today.
Well, that is the energy right there. Thank you very much, and we are hoping to see you all after the contest, and we wish you all the best. All right, now we still have students from Archbishop Potter Girls. Kindly join me here. Student from Archbishop Potter Girls. They are also joining us right here. But then after the contest, my colleague Adobe Asare and I, we have an interesting conversation for you. Well, ladies, kindly join me. All of you should move here and join me. Well, let me stand here. Ladies, what energy are you coming in? I'm not feeling the energy. Kindly join me. Be here. The energy is? It's there. It's there. So you heard what Nananom said. You heard what they just said. What do you have to say about that?
So to them, we have to say that ladies are not to be seen and not to be heard. So all we have to say to them is just, so just watch and see.
Just watch and see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, at the end of the day, what points do you expect to move from this auditorium with?
Okay, so as for that one, the God that saw us through the prelims, the same God going to see us through this 1A stage. So He'll just give us that massive point. Yes.
Well, you know, this year marks 31 years since NSMQ's inception. No lady school has won. Do you think your school will be the one to win that this year?
Okay. Yeah, we have that vim.
Ladies, do you have that vim?
Yeah.
All right, I want to see that vim in your school anthem. Are we ready? Yeah. All right, so counting you down. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Oh Lord above, we praise thy holy name. Bless our noble school, Archbishop Potter Girls. Ave Maria, Ave Maria, Ave Mother of our Savior. Pray for us, pray for us, pray for the founding fathers. Pray for us, pray for us, pray for the staff and students. Grant us our lives may portray purity of mind and body to serve our God, to serve our God and God.
All right, that is the energy. That's the energy from the ladies. But you remember last year after the preliminaries, you were actually kicked out, but then you had a wild card into the 1A stage. Now, are you still praying this year? You remember you had to pray fervently before. Are you still praying this year?
Yes. This year we are.
Are you still going to pray?
See, this year we didn't have to take that wild card. We just won the prelims. This year we're just going to win this 1-8. That's that same way.
Okay, well, so you are showing our viewers of a win right now.
Yes, please. God is with us.
God is with you. All right. Thank you, ladies, very much. And thank you very much. Now we have the ladies from Odiom. We have St. Louis Senior High School. Ladies, kindly join me here. They are all in the contest together right here at the Auditorium 900, where the contest will kickstart pretty soon. Want the ladies to join me here. Last year they did incredibly well, moving all the way through to the semi-final stage after more than a decade drought. Ladies, I want the energy. What energy are you also coming in with?
Oh, we believe in God for everything that we have, and we believe that with God all things will happen and all things will be possible.
All right. Well, before we even continue to find out what we should expect from your school, we want to hear your school anthem. All right, so let's go. Take us away.
We shall always be their best among equals.
Right, well, Slop Sans.
Hi.
All right, now what are we expecting from your school today? You did well, you did incredibly well in the semi-final stage last year. That was after more than a decade drought. You're back. What are we expecting from your school?
Oh, expect nothing but the best.
You know, nothing but the best actually runs through all the schools. I want something different from St. Louis.
Okay, so we have come with God and we believe that with Him we can do all things. So the best is what you should expect.
Okay. Now I want to speak to one of the other ladies. Who's joining me? Kindly join me here. You seem so excited. What message do you have for you heard all that they said? You heard Nananum, you heard Archbishop Potter Girls, all that they said. What do you also have to say?
Okay, we won't brag, we won't say anything, but all we say is that the battle is the Lord and He's here with us and He will do nothing by His will. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, and we're hoping to see you all after the contest. All right, thank you. Now my colleague Adobia Asari, kindly join us.
Vice Jackie.
You know, you are a Ghana national school.
Oh, you didn't have to tell everybody.
Yeah,
I was going to brag after the contest. Anyway, yes. I'm a proud old student of Ghana National College.
So, are you tipping your school?
Yes, of course. I will not point to my father's house with my left hand
right now. Just like what she did to me during the Yasantua contest, her school is also contesting right
now. They will not disgrace me.
Definitely.
God, I beg. Oh, they won't disgrace me. So, Jackie, we want to run through some background, a little background of this school. So let's start with Ghana National College.
Yeah.
Now, they've never made it to the finals before, unfortunately. However, they're a good school. The farthest they've gone is the semi-finals. Now, their glory days began in 2016, where they presented a very solid team, which had the Salma, Kezia, and Odoy. And Salma happened to be the best female contestant that year. She won the best female contestant that year. And so since then, it's been 1/8 quarterfinal, semi-final, 1/8 quarterfinal,